So dear students, here I am going to take an example and I will be explaining this algorithm to you. Okay. So suppose when you are going to execute this algorithm, what is the first statement coming on the screen? The first statement coming on the screen is enter the number of elements you want to add. Okay. So that value provided by the user is stored in a variable n. Okay. So this n is a variable and this is going to hold the total number of elements present in that array. Okay, so suppose your user is provided 5, so your n value contains value 5, and now when execution starts, that means when this n is entered as 5, your array A is allocated 5 memory cells. Okay, so 1 2 3 4. So suppose the array indexes starts with 1, so 1 2 3 4 and this is 5. Okay, so when this happens, naturally this is a operating system is allocating 5 memory cells for your array A. Suppose the user has provided 10, so how many memory cells will be there in your array? There will be 10 memory cells. Okay, you have to understand that. So this is by default, it occurs naturally internally, and we are not bothering about that. Okay, so now when execution starts, the first statement is sum equals to 0. That means there is a variable sum and this is pointing to a memory location, and we are symbolizing that memory location with the name sum, and initially what is the value present? It is 0. Now for loop starts. Okay, so in the for loop, what is the variable used here? I. So it is acting as a counter variable, and what is the value provided to I initially? It is 1. So we have a memory location symbolized as I, and the initial value for this I is 1. Okay, so now these what is the next message comes on the screen when you are executing that program? After getting the total number of elements from the user, the next message comes on the screen will be enter the 5 numbers, enter 5 numbers. Okay, so your user will be providing 5 different values, and that values will come and get stored in this array A. Okay, so suppose the values provided is 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Okay, so when execution starts for I equals to 1, that means there is a variable name I, and this is pointing to this index I 1. Okay, that is what it means. So why this I counter is used? A counter variable is used for iterating the array locations one by one, so that you can retrieve the element present in that array indexes and you work on that. Okay, so let us see. So here what is the value of I equals to 1, so 1 is checked with 5. What is the value of n? It is 5. So 1 is less than or equal to 5. The condition is true. So it is entering into the for loop. Okay. So what happens? What is the initial value in the sum? It is 0. You can see here. Okay. And what is the I value? 1. So what is that? A of 1. That means it is pointing to this value. So 10. So it will retrieve that value 10, adds with 0, and what is the sum? 0 plus 10 is 10. So that will come into sum. So this 0 is overwritten with the value, with new value 10, updated value 10. And iteration goes, I is incremented. What is the new value of I? I becomes 2. So that is updated here. So overwritten and 2 comes. Clear? Now again into the for loop. So what is the old value of sum? Old value of sum was 10. And what is the new value? It is a of 2. Since I is 2. So a of 2 means this value 20. Okay. So 10 plus 20, 30. So here 30 will come. Likewise, in the next iteration, I will be updated. I becomes 3. Okay. And it is pointing to a of 3, that is 30, and 30 is added with 30, the new value will come and it is 60. Likewise, all the 5 loops means execution of this loop will occur 5 times, and at the end of the 5th iteration, this sum will be having how much? 10 plus 20, 30, 60, 50, 150. This sum will be having 150. And what is and which time at what time this you are exiting from the for loop? When your I value increments, that means when your I value goes beyond the value 5, that means when I value becomes 6, you are exiting from your for loop. Okay. And after exiting, this statement comes here, a control comes here, return sum. So this is the final answer you are getting on the screen. That is the sum of the 5 numbers is 150. You will get like that. Okay, for this value, for this execution, for the value n equal to 5, and with these numbers you will get 150 as the answer for this problem P. Okay. So now suppose your array, your user, next user comes and he is providing n equal to 10. What happens? Your array size will increase. Number of cells in the array will be 10. Okay. Next, third user will come. He will provide n equal to 20. What happens? Your array size again expands. It will contain 20 memory cells. Fourth user come. He is going to execute this program and he is providing n equal to 3. So your array will have only 3 memory cells. So what you are seeing here, what is going on here? That means depending upon the value provided by the user for the variable n, your array is expanding or shrinking. Okay, that means your array size is completely dependent upon the value of n. Okay, so hope this is clear to you. So now you are going to calculate the space complexity of this algorithm. So S of add equal to C plus SP. Now you have to find those variables which comes under the C part and those variables which comes under the SP part, instance characteristics. This is what we call it as instance characteristics. That means one time the user is coming, executing the program, your array is having 10 memory locations for the n value n equals to 10. Next time another programmer executes this program with the value n equal to 20, your array size will be 20. So that means depending upon different instances, this variable A, this array variable is expanding its size sometime or it will be shrinking its size sometime. Okay, so that is what known as instance characteristics. So now as you know that we have this much of variables. So we have listed these variables and the space used. So here what is the first variable? It is the n. So you see here throughout the execution of this program, this n value is utilizing only one memory word. So 1. Next variable is sum. Throughout the execution of the program, this sum variable is utilizing only one memory word, 1. Next I, counter variable. Throughout the execution of the program, this I variable is utilizing only one memory word. So 1. Next your array. This array A is completely depending upon which factor? The array A is completely depending upon this n factor. So for this algorithm, the n value is 5. So your array size is 5. Next time another programmer come, n value he will provide 20. So your array size will be 20. Next time another programmer will come, execute this program with 1 million, n equal to 1 million, your array size will be 1 million length. Okay. So it is completely depending upon the value of n. So it is directly depending upon the value of n. So that means you under the constant part, how many variables are there? There are 3 variables which are utilizing only constant amount of memory words. The number of time you are going to execute this program, these 3 variables will be requiring only 1 memory word each. That means total 3 memory words. So we can write 3 here. And which is the SP part, instance characteristics part? This array, this variable A, and it is holding how much memory words? It is holding n memory words. Okay, depending upon the value of n, it will hold that much of memory cells. So it depends upon n value. So total amount of memory words required by this variable A, array A, is n words. Okay, so that is what we write here, n. So total space complexity is n plus 3. So you can add like that and you can get here also n plus 3. Okay, so we have to represent this space complexity in the terms of known as big O notations. So we will see different notations are there which is going to represent the performance analysis of an algorithm. Okay, so we have a big O notation, theta notation, omega notation, and we had normally we use big O notations, and this big O notation is represented with big O and what is represented here, which is the here in this equation how many terms are here? There are two terms, 3 and n. Okay, so which term is having the highest degree? So we can say that this term is having the means in this algorithm on which factor this the time space of this algorithm depends, the n factor only, isn't it? This 3 factor is a very small value, and depending upon the value of n your space complexity reduces or increases. Okay, so that means the same program requires a small amount of space for particular execution, it may require large amount of space for another particular execution. Okay, so that means this n factors. So this is the value on which your algorithm is completely depending. So we write big of n. This is the space complexity of this program. Okay, so hope this is clear to you. If you have any doubt, you can contact me in person. You have to watch this video again and again so that you can understand the concept. Okay, so in this video I have explained only 2 examples. The first example where only constant part was there, no instance characteristic was there. Second example where instance characteristic was there. Okay, and I have calculated the space complexity. We have seen how, we saw how space complexity is calculated for these 2 examples. Okay, in these 2 scenarios. Hope this is clear to you. So if you have any doubt, you have to re-watch it again and again. Okay, thank you so much.